everybody. You're listening to Fandom Planet. We are Powers Carr. I'm Sax Carr.
I'm Tim Powers. Today is a very special day here on Fandom Planet. We've got quite a bit in store, so get your headphones, get them cranked up, and get comfortable.
That's right. We're hoping you're listening to this in your car because we like that you get around. All right, so here we go. We, as you know, we are the show that celebrates fandom in all of its types, from television to movies to comic books and all over. And no one better typifies that than our guest today, one of my favorite stars on television.
Oh, go on.
Oh, it's true.
We got Paul Lynn.
Yeah, Paul Lynn is here. William Shatner's coming in. All right, so no, it is, and also for my favorite show, Warehouse 13, it is Allison Scagliotti. Hello, Allison.
Hello, Sax.
Am
It's so good to be at Meltdown Comics with you.
Oh, yes. Well, we do like having our show here at Meltdown. It's very fantastic. All kinds of cool people here today. And
it's not often we leave the negative zone and come to Meltdown when it's not Wednesday, but we're here.
Yep.
And
we call this the double negative zone. So, now, here's something we can get off right off the top. I think I mispronounced your name for an entire 6 months on this show.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I heard the Nerdist podcast, love them, by the way, that you corrected America.
Wonderful people.
Yeah.
Here's the deal with my name. I used to take a lot of shit when I went into auditions, and you know, the casting associate would ask me, so just so I know when I announce you in there, how do I pronounce your name? And I had this line down. I'd kind of like get all Gordon Gekko with it and be like, Scagliotti, baby. The G is silent, the O is long.
Nice.
But that's a little obnoxious, so I don't do that anymore.
That's not pretentious at all.
Instead, on the back of my business card, it says the G is silent.
Which is good. It's always good to deliver your pretension in something they can take with you.
Exactly. If you roll your eyes when you receive my business card, my work here is done.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you even have to hand out business cards anymore at this point?
I don't. It's more of a novelty thing for me.
We're gonna have one. We're gonna have one in the office here at Meltdown Comics. Everyone wants to come over and take it. We'll block out all the numbers.
Have it framed.
Yes, we got one.
It'd
All right,
be like
so
the Declaration of Independence. We'll have it in a helium frame so that it never ages.
You guys are true geeks. I tip my hat to you, sirs.
Is it because we're willing to do that, or we know what a helium frame is?
Both.
Okay, just checking. All right, so we asked this of all our guests, and we will ask you: what do you geek out about? What is it? What kind of geek are you?
I am a massive music geek.
Okay.
I could empty my bank account on iTunes, but I prefer not to. My favorite thing to do is go to Amoeba and just spend hours like going through bargain vinyl and like discovering, strange eclectic punk rock that I've never heard of. I drive my friends crazy. I've been listening to the same hip hop mix in my car for the week that I've been back in LA. In fact, on my way down here, I was listening to a classic that is called "I Left My Wallet in El Segundo."
Oh, of course.
Now, just narratively speaking, this is a spectacular song.
Right.
It is really well structured.
The Tribe outdid themselves.
They did indeed.
You know what's weird is that I listen to that song a lot when I used to live in Maine, where I'm from. And the song makes me feel like El Segundo is really far away.
Yeah.
And then I moved to California, and I'm like, oh, he just went there?
Yeah.
Fuck, I go back and get my wallet from there.
Don't ever mention the song to someone from El Segundo, because they will roundhouse kick you in the face.
I believe it. I believe I will be dropped. I'll just make it a point to avoid El Segundo. How about that?
That's great advice.
As long as we're talking about the Tribe, I do want to say, Allison, that if you would like to kick it, yes, you can.
Oh,
right?
thank
We're
you.
going to validate that right now.
Oh my God! See, now I'm geeking out.
Yeah.
I am a geek.
We can talk Tribe all day long. But speaking of geeks, though, do you think that music geeks are in the same universe as like sci-fi television geeks? Is that all joint geekdom, or is it?
I think it is. I think it is, because I think that geek has a totally different sort of definition now than it did maybe a few years ago, because fan culture is so much more like in the forefront of like the broader reaching pop culture. Like, okay, right. I just read Olivia Munn's book. Yes, I read Suck It, Wonder Woman, and the way she puts it, I think, is ultimate. It's like a geek is anyone who is really into something.
Right.
Just has an interest that they're obsessed with, and, like they like to connect with other people about it. So I think there's, like, no shame in geekdom. I'm proud of my geekdom.
Well, I mean, I buy that, but I also remember in high school when I was, like, really embarrassed to be a comic book nerd. In fact, no, that's not true. I'm using that term for effect. I was never embarrassed. But I knew exactly what place I was at in the social ladder. despite being president of my class. But no, I
well done.
But
well,
I did
he
feel
was
like,
homeschooled.
Yeah.
It's cool, me too, but I had a 4.0. Come on, up high.
Woohoo! I was not homeschooled, nor did I have a 4.0. I don't think I've ever seen a 4.0. So but I felt like the music geeks were a totally different level, and they were higher up in the chain. Like, I felt like the guys in leather jackets who, like, listen to rock and roll, like, because I listen to ska, too, which we're approaching levels of geekdom that are dangerous, but, like, I felt like there was a deviation there. Like, there was a hierarchy.
See,
now it's not the
were
same.
hardcore, man. I was a music geek who read comics. You know,
I
and
lived comics.
This was 1987, young lady, when
Fantastic.
I was playing in a band and I was reading comics, and fortunately, the comic shop and the used record store were on the same block.
Right.
So I could go and
ultimate.
piss away every dime I ever made, and got to discover some great music.
No, I mean, I was into sci-fi and like comic books to a level that people are like afraid I'm going to start living it in like, you know, a cul-de-sac somewhere with a sword. I mean, like, I was really seriously into it, and it felt like the music geeks and like all the other, like the sports geeks, which we on Fandom Planet would like to believe are all, you know, hanging out on the same globe,
Okay.
were different, and that they didn't understand geekdom on this level. Now, I mean, I've you know, dulled out in being that obsessive as I've gotten
I was
older.
always somewhat comforted by the fact that I was never a role-play gamer.
Mhm.
You know, because I could at least look at those guys and go, well, I'm not getting laid, but they're never getting laid.
That's right. To be fair, we do eventually get laid. It just takes around 28 years.
That's right. Once I had a credible income, I became much more attractive.
Indeed. Well, don't we all?
Yes.
Well, you know, age is something that we
the
should
19-year-old.
It's true.
We should talk about that. I mean, okay, as it happens, I'm about 10 years younger than Tim. And you're about 10 years younger than me.
Indeed.
So we came up in like different eras
Different
of
eras
fandom.
of geekdom. We were talking
Yeah.
about that on the way
and,
here.
And, you know, while Tim was, you know, in a situation where he couldn't see Star Wars on demand and he had to go to the theater, I was in a situation where it was a little more easy, and I think you can, like, you know, I think your phone plays Star Wars, I'm willing to bet.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the media playing abilities are on this BlackBerry. But yes, I had consumed all three of the good Star Wars films.
Yes.
By the time I was 10, I am proud of that. And the other three, I don't want to talk about.
No.
We won't let you.
I love
Yeah.
me some Nat Portman, but
We don't need to alienate that much of our audience by talking about those films.
I
yet
control
again.
your microphone. We're not going to let you talk about it.
fantastic.
But is it easier to get into fandom now than it was for us, or is it different because you it's like less of a wholesome connection?
I think here's the way I feel about fandom now. You were talking about social hierarchies in high school and whatnot. I feel extremely lucky that I didn't go to normal high school and have to deal with that, because I know that I would have not even like placed in a rung. I would have been on the way out in left field, like no friends. And I think that now it's an incredibly healthy outlet to just get into what you like. I mean, you know, people ask me about my style all the time on the show, and I'm like, you know what, man, wear what you like. I do what I'm comfortable with. The comics that I pick out are comics that I dig. I listen to music that moves me, not because somebody else said, "Oh my God, you know what they're playing in the club right now." I'm like, gross. No, I just give me a sick beat and some good lyrics, and it's healthy.
Okay.
I think it's healthy.
Let me first deviate really quickly out of this topic for a second, because I have a Warehouse 13 fandom question.
Bring it.
I've noticed, because again, for those of you who are just coming out from a cave, that I run Allison Scag for Cassie.com, and like that I'm involved. I'm also a fan of yours on top of running this show.
You're a champion, Carr.
it is when you
Now,
sit in front of
because
the
this is
computer all day,
radio,
it's
I'm
not
going to
hard.
explain that your probation officer is here in this
That's
double
right.
negative zone studio,
Yeah.
making sure that Allison is safe.
Yes, that's right. There's a series of laser bars across. Boy, I just geeked that up all the way to hell. All right, starting. But I've noticed that you wear a lot of like the sort of like jewelry and stuff that you see on the show. Outside of that, now which is the direction that goes? Are you bringing your stuff in that then appears in your character, or are you taking stuff you like from costuming home?
Both. There's
Okay.
a full circle. This season, I brought a lot of my own pieces from home and incorporated that into the wardrobe. And then, Joanne Hansen, our designer, will pull these crazy, awesome pieces from, like, Toronto designers, and I'll go, I have to have that in my life. So I'll like either steal it or go find the establishment that she bought it at.
Well, here's some ironic fandom for you. Those of you out there who just heard her say that you should be yourself and rock to your own music and everything else, and are so impressed by that you'd like to also dress in a way like she does.